No, I was saying it's just crazy that neighborhood was all these gifted people on one block.
Yeah, but something in the water.
No, something was in the water. Something was in the water. I believe that in every city, every town, every village, everywhere where you got people gathered, ratio-wise, there's probably that same amount of talent. We had Berry Gordy.
A leader.
Yeah, we had Berry Gordy. So that's what happened with Motown. Like I said, he was a music dude. You know, for the first 5 or 6 years after Berry started Motown, he was in the trenches trying to get his music, recording people and doing all those things like that, like the rest of us. But he was running it. You know what I mean? So we had Berry Gordy. We had a dude who had the wherewithal to pull that off. And Berry Gordy is actually a genius kind of dude, man.
That's an understatement.
Yeah, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Really. Because Berry never thought that he knew everything. Whatever he didn't know, he hired somebody who knew that. And till he learned it, you know. But he hired somebody who knew what he was trying to accomplish and did it. So, you know, very few dudes were thinking, especially at his age when he started Motown when he was about 26, you know, and borrowed $800 from his family, you know, and started Motown. And
I love to see you pay respect to Berry like that because, you know, people say, even on Motown's website, it says if it wasn't for you, Motown would not have risen to become the sound of young America.
Well, people say that because I had the first
you wrote
few
a lot
hits,
of hit songs.
yeah, in the beginning, you know. So they say that, but you know,
they go hand in hand, though. You need the business guy.
You had the outlet
he needs you
for it. Now, I also remember reading early on in your career, you had a complex about your voice because you had like a high voice and.
Yeah. I did, but I had sort of like a complex because my voice was extra. I think about when you say that. Even in high school, when I was in the high school choir, I sang soprano. Second soprano in the high school choir, you know.
That's high, right?
Yeah. Very the highest.
But all the guys who were my singing idols had high voices. Jackie Wilson was my number one singing idol as a kid growing up. Jackie Wilson was from Detroit. In fact, he had a cousin that lived right down the street from 2 doors down the street from where I lived.
Man, all of y'all family. You couldn't have sex with nobody back then.
When he came on the street, it was like the president had come or something, you know. Jackie Wilson was my number one singing idol. Sam Cooke was one of my singing idols. Clyde McFadder, Frankie Lyman, and a dude in Detroit named Nolan Strong had a group called the Diablos. They all had high voices. So those were the guys that I grew up idolizing as singers. And they all had high voices. So I was glad that I had a high voice, you know. But when I became a solo artist, I wanted to play some different places than the Miracles and I had been playing. I wanted to play Vegas and places like that, you know. So I kind of dropped my keys down to where they are now.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Now, I always also wanted, growing up in Detroit, did you have to fight a lot? Because, you know, we tease this young man right here because of his skin complexion.
Because I'm light-skinned and handsome.
You know, you got the green eyes. Like,
Yeah,
people call you pretty boy.
him.
Did they test you a lot growing up in Detroit?
Well, to tell you the truth, man, yeah, I did fight a lot when I was a kid growing up. But it wasn't about that. It was about dudes trying to take advantage of me, you know. And so I fought a lot. And then I had some partners, man, that I grew up with, and a couple of them were lighter than you.
Lighter than me?
Yeah.
They were white then.
They were white, yeah.
You had some white friends?
So I did too. But anyway, people used to pick on them, you know. So we had a lot of fights. And what broke me up from fighting was when I was about 15 years old. We were playing baseball, and we had a neighborhood baseball team, and we were playing against some white boys. And something happened, whereas one of the white boys got upset about something and swung on one of our dudes, you know, and we had a bat fight.
Wow.
And that was the end of it for me. That was the end of it for me because it was horrible. It was, you know, dudes hitting each other in the head with bats and called police and heads bleeding, people going to the hospital. That was it for me. See, you know, it's changed now because we used to fight, you know. Nowadays, kids just shoot each other, you know, which is atrocious. You know, the gun thing is just insane, you know. So, but that broke me up from fighting.
How was the police back then? Brutality back then?
It was undercover what it is now.
Really?
You know what I mean? Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, I thought it would have just been overt.
No. It was overt, but I'm saying it wasn't as blatant. Well, I guess it was a blatant, but we didn't have social media. We didn't have cameras on our phone.
Right.
So nobody saw what was
Gotcha.
going on. But see, like you brought that up. I lived in the hood. I lived in a black neighborhood. All the cops were white. You know what I mean? So that's what we were up against.
It just made me think when you said you had the game and you said the cops were called. I'm like, damn, they probably arrested all of y'all and let the white boys go at that time.
Well, pretty much so, you know. But it was, that's how it was. Because when I was growing up, all the cops were white in our neighborhood. You know, I don't even remember seeing a black cop.
Damn.
You know, but that's how it was. And like I said, nowadays everything, thank God, is revealed.
Mm-hmm.
You know, everything, thank God, is coming to the light. You know, and we're getting a chance to see what's happening.
I'm always intrigued how the world looks to the OGs like you. You're 76 now. Like, how have you watched the world change, watched the world evolve?
Or has it changed?
Well, yeah, it has, man. And believe it or not, it's changed for the better because there's not as much racial prejudice as there used to be. You know, the races are mingling a whole lot better than they used to. You know, so it's gotten better in that light. And but it's the world has changed a great deal, man. And I will always, for my entire life, thank God for Rosa Parks. Because Rosa Parks is the trigger.
How old are you then?
I was probably 20-something,
Gotcha.
And by her taking a stand, and it was so wonderful that she took that stand and she was absolutely in the right, but she got arrested, you know what I mean? Because she gets on the bus, and in those days where in Alabama and Selma, where she was, they had everything was segregated. Everything was segregated. So she gets on the bus and she goes to the back where she's supposed to go according to that rule.
Right.
And she's sitting down. She's tired. She's worked all day. This white dude gets on the bus, and there's no seats in the white section. So he comes and demands that she gets up and gives him her seat. She said, "No, I'm not getting up.
Nah.
I'm not giving you my seat. I'm tired." So she sat there. They called the cops. Cops came and got her, arrested her. It wasn't like she was sitting down in the white section. And they arrested her. But thank God she took that stand, because then Dr. Martin Luther King and Reverend Ralph Abernathy got involved and said, "Okay, here's what we're going to do. We're going to hurt them economically. We're not going to take the buses. We're not going to take any of that. Y'all walk. Well, those of you who got cars, pick each other up, take each other to work and to school and do those things like that." So they felt that. So they changed the bus law. So you could ride wherever you wanted to ride. But they still had the white drinking fountains and the black drinking fountains.
Right.
When we first started traveling, man, we'd go to the South, and there'd be a big stage in the middle of the arena. And white people be on that side, black people be on this side. Or white people upstairs and black people downstairs, or vice versa. And
That's interesting. You never think about that. That's
there was
interesting.
no intermingling, okay? And I'm also proud of the fact that I think that Motown broke down a lot of those barriers, because a year or two later, we would go there, and the kids had a common love. They had our music. They were dancing together. You see white boys with black girlfriends. You see black boys with white girlfriends. I mean, it was just an amazing thing that took place, and even globally, man, because
Was this before segregation was abolished or after?
this was during.
Okay,
This was
gotcha.
one of the catalysts that I think that happened, because we gave them a common love. We gave them some music the first day of Motown, Barry sat us down. There were 5 people there. He sat us down. He said, "We are going to make music. We're not going to make just black music. We're going to make music for the world. We're going to make music for everybody. We're going to make music that has some good beats and some good stories, and that's going to be our quality control. We're going to make music for everybody." And that's what we set out to do. And thank God that's what we did. And like I was saying, even globally, at the time we were in a Cold War with Russia, and the Temptations and the Supremes went there, and it was packed out. They said, you know, Russia, you know, at that time, and Russia and America weren't even speaking.
Right.
You know what I mean? So, I'm very proud of that we broke those barriers down like that with music, because music is love. Music is. I shudder to think if there's anybody on earth who doesn't like any kind of music whatsoever. I can't even imagine that person.
It's the most universal thing out there.
You know
other
what I'm
than
saying?
sex.
It's a universal language, babe.
Yeah.
You know, we were talking about My Girl, man, and My Girl as a songwriter has become my international anthem. Because we play My Girl. She saw the show. We play My Girl in the show. You know, and we could be in a country where the primary language is not even English, and most people in the audience don't even speak English. And when they hear boom, 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 they know what's going to happen.
They know the words.
They jump. They start singing My Girl. They're all singing it, and so music is like the international language. So, broke down a lot of barriers with music, man.
My Girl became one of my favorite movies too, man. When Thomas J get killed by them bees, oh Lord, I cried so much, right? Even to this day.
Do you have to clear every time My Girl is used, commercials? Do you own My Girl?
Yeah, but I don't have to clear it, thank God. Just use it, because I'm going to get paid.
That check coming. That check coming.
You know what I mean? Really. Yeah. Yeah, just use it. I don't have to clear it. What they do is they just contact people who run the publishing
company.
And that's it.
I wanted to ask you one more thing about that segregation era. Did they treat artists any different? Even though y'all was black, did y'all have like any privilege at all?
Well, I was on that when I got sidetracked. I might get sidetracked a lot. We would go down south, man, and we couldn't even use the bathroom. You know, they had toilets, men, women, and you go around the back, and it said colored. And like if you were colored, you weren't a man or woman, because that was just unisex.
Right.
Just colored people use this bathroom, or it was an outhouse. You know, we've been shot at for wanting to go to the bathroom, man. Pulling to a gas station on the bus and getting ready, and the guy comes out with a gun. You get, and you know that kind of stuff. You know, and so it was deep, man.
And that has to be disheartening to go perform after something like that happens.
Yeah, and you.
I can't even use the bathroom in the venue, but I got to get on stage.
You couldn't even stay in the hotels. You know, we had to go to the black side of town and stay in rooming houses. You know, and at the time, I was married to my first wife, who was the girl in the Miracles, and sometimes we couldn't even live together because the rooming houses were like dorms, and all the guys on the tour had to stay in one house, and the girls had to stay in another house. You know, but it was like that, and that's what we had to do. We had to go to the black side of town and find a rooming house so we could stay, because we couldn't stay in the hotels. None of them. We couldn't even stay in the motels. You know, so it was deep, and it was rough. That's why I said the world has made so much progress,
right?
Because now it's different. I mean, you know, you go to the hotels down south now, and they have black managers.
Right.
You know what I mean? So it's
owners sometimes too.
Absolutely.
I also wanted to ask you, what was the artist's responsibility during that time? Like,
well, you know, our responsibility was what we did. Those of us who wanted to participate, we would go to the restaurant, and we go in the restaurant, and we sit there for when we were able to go into the restaurant. Because at first we'd be on those tours, and like if the bus driver was white, he'd have to go in and buy our food, you know, because we couldn't go in the restaurant. But after we were able to go, after the civil rights movement started and we started doing the sit-ins and all that, we go in the restaurant, and we would sit there for an hour before somebody come over and say, "We wish you would leave." Not what do you want? We wish you would leave.
Damn.
And we said, well, we're not going to leave. Another hour go by, somebody comes and say, well, what you want? You know, and you order what you want. And then when they brought you what it was, you didn't really want to eat it.
I would want to eat that.
But it even looked like something that you didn't want to eat.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Man.
So it was like that. And so, but we did it because we were breaking down barriers.
Mm-hmm.
We were breaking down barriers. And I think about the dogs being sicked on people and the
Hoses
fire
being
hoses,
sprayed, yeah.
and not just adults, children, you know. And it's a hell of a thing to see your child being hit in the head with a billy club, or being washed down the street with a fire hose, or a dog sicked on your baby.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? But that's what was going on. But we had to endure. We've always endured, man. You know, since we first were imported over here. And see, what most people don't know, and especially a lot of black people don't know, that when the slavery time was happening and they were importing slaves from Africa and stuff like that, those people were being sold by those chiefs. You know, they were being sold by African people. They were being sold by black folks, you know, to come over here and do that, you know. And so most people don't know that. And so they need to know that. And they need to know that before that even started to happen, there were black men and black people in this country, you know. And they were freemen. And they were doing what they wanted to do. They lived in the wilderness. They lived in the cities. They lived in, you know, and there were black people here before the slaves even came over here. So most people don't even know that. I just finished taping a TV show that's called "Who Do You Think You Are?" You know, where you go and they search your heritage and they tell you who you are. You know, so now.
What are you, Smokey? You Native American, ain't you?
Sorry, but you should say that. But at the end, they tell you because they've taken your DNA and they tell you everything. So my dad's side of the family, which they didn't do, they just did my mom's side this time. But my dad's side of the family, I had two sisters, and my youngest sister was 14 when I was born. Okay, but my youngest sister and I tried to look up my dad's heritage and stuff like that because my dad ran away from home when he was 12 years old. Never saw or talked to anyone in his family from that moment on. Okay. 12 years. Can you imagine that? Never saw it because there were no phones and nothing like that. And I felt sorry for my grandmother, for his mother. I never met her because, of course, he ran away from home when he was 12. I knew my grandmother on my mother's side, but I can imagine what his mother was thinking. He was the youngest. She had 9 kids, and he was the youngest. And for her baby to just disappear, and she in Selma, Alabama.
What would make you run away from home at 12, though? Well,
it's a deep story, babe, because my dad, when he was 10 years old, he got this white man gave him, he was born in Selma, Alabama, he lived in Selma, and gave him a job delivering newspapers to like barbershops and stores and things like that, you know. So he made 50 cents a month, okay? Yeah. So when he was 10, he said that this white boy, who was about 15 at the time, would be standing there waiting for him to get his 50 cents. And every time he got it, the boy would take it from him. Give me that money. And he would take it from him because he was bigger than him. And my dad, like I said, was the youngest. And he had older brothers, but he wouldn't tell them because they do something to this boy, they're going to get tarred and feathered, you know. So he wouldn't tell them. So he said one day he saw a pocket knife, one of those Boy Scout knives, had the can opener and the knife and all that stuff like that, for 2 cents. And he bought it. And so by this time he was 12. The boy comes up to him when he gets his 50 cents and say, "Give me that money." He said, "No, I'm not giving you my money. I ain't giving you my money ever again." So the boy said, "You gonna give me that money?" And grabbed him in the collar and started tussling him around. He said he just took his knife out and stabbed him all in the legs. And the boy fell down on the ground and was down there bleeding and crying and stuff like that. And he started running. He was going home. He said, well, when he said, I don't know how at 12 years old he was even thinking like this. He said he thought, if I go home, they're going to come and probably kill everybody in my family. So he ran to the railroad tracks. He jumped on a train. That was it.
Wow. Where'd he go?
He just, the first stop they made, he said he went to several different cities. The first city he ever settled in, he said when he was 19, was Cleveland, Ohio.
Wow.
You know, but he was just headed north. So he just went, that's where he went. He just
at
around.
12 years old.
He said, 12 years old. He just was fending for himself, you know. So he had a rough time of it. But anyway, we were searching his heritage, and we found out that my great grandfather, his grandfather, was a dude named Enoch who had come over on the slave boats. My grandfather, his father was named Jack, and so we found that out about him. And so when they did my heritage, I'm 47% Nigerian.
Wow.
That's what my dad was. 47% Nigerian. I'm 22% Scandinavian. They told me that they discovered that some of my relatives were Vikings. Okay.
Wow.
I am 15% Portuguese, and the rest is Cherokee.
Cherokee. Yeah, I could see the Cherokee.
So
yeah.
You're right. Yeah.
And hide your credit cards around Smokey. He's 47% Nigerian. Now, how could you not grow to hate white people? Like I always ask people from that era, like how did you keep that hate out of you? Not turning out to just absolutely hate and despise them.
Well, you know what, man? I attribute that probably to my mom. My mom was a real woman. She would cuss you out in a minute, but she was a church lady. You know what I'm saying? but she would cuss you out in a minute. But she was a church lady. My mom went to church 3-4 times a week. She went to the BYP meeting, the LAU. She sang in the choir in the church, and so I think that by her instilling God into my life from the outset, you know what I mean, was a great asset for me, because I have always known God my entire life. I mean, when I was a little boy, man, I wouldn't do stuff because I thought God was watching me. I told you, man, I grew up in the hood, man, and I told my kids this when they were growing up, and I tell them, don't ever come to me with peer pressure. You can tell me anything. If you kill somebody, you can come to me, Dad, I killed him, but I killed him because of something. Don't tell me you killed him because Bobby killed him. I don't want to hear that.
All right.
Do not give me peer pressure, because you growing up in Beverly Hills. You know what I mean? So don't tell me that, because I grew up in the hood in Detroit, and some of my partners were gangsters. You know what I mean? And them dudes would come to me and say, hey, man, we're going to go rob the gas station tonight. Okay, I'll see you tomorrow.
Maybe. Maybe.
No, you're right, maybe. Because sometimes I would see them, and they'd have maybe $15, $20 a piece.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Well, if they rob somebody, something, and they're going, we're going to rob. And I tell them, man, well, I ain't going with you to rob a gas station, especially going to rob a gas station in the corner, because that's Nate's gas station. We know Nate. So I'm not going down to help you do nothing like that. But they love me, and I love them. And I didn't have to do wrong with them for them to love me, and I love them. They were in my house. My mom passed when I was 10. My older sister came back to the house, my older sister, and she had 6 kids at the time. She ended up having 10 kids, so there was like 11 of us. My older sister became my mama, okay? And our house was a gathering place. It would be nothing for 30 kids to be at our house at the same time. We're all different ages, because we were, our house was a gathering. So my partners, they came to my house most of the time. They would be there. So the next day, I would see them. Sometimes they had $15, $20 a piece. You should have gone with us, man. No, I shouldn't have gone with you, because I don't want to do that. You know what I mean? So, but they still came, and we still were tight, And sometimes they would be in jail.
Oh, dead.
When we were little, they'd be in juvenile, and sometimes they would be dead. One of my the cats I grew up, man, got killed 2 days before Christmas, stealing Christmas cards out of a dude's car.
Lord have mercy.
There were some Christmas cards in the back of a guy's car, and he's stealing his Christmas cards, and the police saw him, and they shot him because he started running. So they shot him. So, but I grew up in that.
That sounds familiar.
Yeah. But I just told my kids, you don't have to do wrong with people for them to be your friend. If you got to do wrong with them for them to accept you, they are not your friends, and they don't love you.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? If they love you, they love you, and you ain't got to do wrong with them for them to love you. Because, like I said, where you growing up, this is mild. This ain't nothing. I used to tell the little guys that my sons especially grew up. Boys, we think we slick we get to be a certain age, and we think we slick. And I tell them all the time, don't try to pull that on me. Tell me what you just did. Don't try to pull no stuff on me, because, like I said, you growing up in Beverly Hills. I grew up in the hood in Detroit. Ain't nothing you're gonna do or think or be that I haven't seen or done.
Oh, I'm gonna surprise you.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
There ain't nothing like that. So don't try to pull no shit on me, because I'm not gonna have it.
Yeah.
So, but anyway, that's how I grew up, and it was rough, but you don't. So my mother told me about God, and I think that God was watching me. I think that about my life. I think that right now. I am so blessed. I am so blessed until sometimes it's scary. You know what I mean, man? I can't believe my life sometimes. I am so blessed. So I think that God gives everybody gifts. I don't care who you are, you got a gift from God. Maybe you never discover it. Maybe you discover and you don't like it. You don't want to do that. You want to do something else. But God gives everybody gifts, okay? So with the gift that he's given me, I'm not going to thwart that. I'm not going to squander it. I'm not going to trip on Smokey Robinson, all that, I'm a blessed man. I grew up in the hood in Detroit, man. Some of my partners, like I said, are dead. And there were some dudes in my neighborhood that would sing me under the table. You know what I mean? They didn't get this. I got it. I'm going to thank God for it every day of my life.
Amen. Absolutely.
I'm not going to trip on Smokey Robinson, because, see, show business is a life of accolades and pedestals and people giving you praise and stuff all the time like that. I'm not going to trip on that, man, because it comes with the territory. You know what I mean? If I think I'm bad, if I think I'm the bomb, you know, and I play over here somewhere. Next week, Bruno Mars comes. Mm-hmm. And what I did is mild, you know, with the crowds and everything else, the reaction, everything. You know what I mean? So it comes with the territory. So I'm not going to trip and think it's me, because if I was a grocer, I wouldn't be getting this. Right. You know, so I know that. And it's a blessing. And I thank God for it every day. And I'm not going to let God give me this and then I start tripping on me. No, I ain't going to do that, because this ain't about me. This is about what he's allowing me to do with my life. Right. And I'm going to give him the credit. I'm going to give him the credit for me being able to do this. Because I live a life that I absolutely love. You know, and my life is hard. I mean, I travel. You know, people think when you're in show business, it's easy. Oh, that's easy. You know, that's easy. My youngest son told me that one time, and I put him out the room. You know, I did. I put him out the room, man, because this dude came to me, and he was telling me something, and I said, man, I worked too hard for you to come to me with this shit. You know, he said, oh, Dad, your life is easy. What you do is easy. I said, man, you get out of my room right now. You just get out of here.
You should have took him on the road with you. Memoir?
You should have took him on the road with you for a little bit.
I did. I did take him.
He still wouldn't understand it though.
Yeah, well, he didn't get the full, because it's rough, but I'm blessed because I earn a living doing what I absolutely love.
Right.
I can't think of anything else that I'd rather be doing with my life. I tried retiring from this. It didn't work for me.
We see.
You know? Yeah. So I can't think of anything else I'd rather be doing in my life than what I'm doing. It's a blessing. That ain't no Smokey Robinson. That's a blessing.
It's all God.
You know, yeah.
Is that one of the reasons that the group was called The Miracles?
You know what, man? I guess God meant for that to happen too, because we had recorded our first record, and Barry had recorded a record on us, and it came out on a label here in New York called N Label, and we after we recorded the record, before we recorded the record, like I said, we were a group in Detroit, and we were just 5 guys, and we called ourselves the Matadors, and so one of the guys who sang with us was my first wife's brother, and when we graduated from high school, he was 17, but he wanted to go to the Army. Because we weren't doing anything. We were just singing around Detroit, and all of us had regular jobs and stuff like that. And he wanted to go to the Army, so he had his mom and his dad to sign him to go to the Army. And then we got a chance to go audition for Jackie Wilson's Managers. And we were used to singing with 5 voices, so we were the Matadors. And Claudette, who was my first wife, was in a group called the Matadorettes. So she kind of knew our stuff. So we took her with us to sing in his place. And that's how we became the Miracles with a girl. And we didn't pass the audition for Jackie Wilson's Managers, but Barry happened. See, it's another God day, you know, because Barry was writing songs for Jackie Wilson. He just happened to be there that day. When we went there, we sang 5 songs that I had written, thinking that they were going to say, "Oh, these kids got their own material, so we'll definitely sign them." Wrong. They didn't like us at all, because there was a group called the Platters. And the Platters. The Platters were the #1 group in the world at that time. They had a dude singing high like me, and a girl in the group, Zola. And so they told us, "See, you guys are like a replica of the Platters. Y'all ain't gonna never make it," you know. So Barry came out afterwards, and he liked a couple of the songs that we sang. That's how I met him. But he didn't have to be there that day. We didn't have to go there the day that he was there. That was a God plan.
Right.
You know what I mean? He did not have to be there the day we went to audition. We didn't have to be there the day he was there, but we were. So that was the hookup. Anyway, so we had the girl in the group, and so when we after we recorded the first record, we needed a name because the Matadors wasn't going to suit a girl, you know, being in our group. So all 5 of us put some names into a hat, and we shook the names up. And I put the Miracles in there, and we shook the names up. And Claudette reached in and took out a name, and it was the Miracles.
That's God.
You know what I mean, man?
Yes, sir.
Absolutely. So you know, it's been a lot of God plan in my life, man. And I'm not gonna not tell people. I'm not gonna not proclaim that, because I know that He's given me this, and so He gets the glory. You know, He gets the glory, and that's just it for me.
Now, you're big on that. I remember at the BET Awards, I got the exact quote when you said, there's so many people in this world who wish they had one person who they felt like loved them. Yeah. And for an artist to feel self-absorbed because so many people love you is ridiculous, and they should just be thankful.
Absolutely. Absolutely, man. And I've seen, and I'm not exaggerating, I've seen thousands upon thousands of people come through show business. They just come through, they're here today and they're gone tomorrow. And the great majority of those people have gotten 1 or 2 hit records and thought they were show business. How can the world possibly do without me now that they're aware that I'm here? You know what I mean?
Right, mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So, there they go. You know, because they take it for granted that it's them. They're not observing life. They're not looking at, you didn't start this. This started before your great-great-grandmama was born.
Mm.
You know what I mean? You ain't going to finish this. There's some kids who ain't even been born yet. There's some kids whose parents ain't even been born yet. And they ain't going to finish it either. Because it's an everlasting, ongoing thing. So you didn't start it. So the world don't need you. You know what I mean? But they get to the point where they think the world needs them. Hey, I'm me. So how can you possibly? And they don't talk to people. They shun their fans. It's just stupid.
So you never got the big head, even when it was Smokey Robinson and the Miracles.
Hey man, I wouldn't care if it was Smokey Robinson and Smokey Robinson like it is now. No, I'm not gonna get that because I know the source.
Yeah, absolutely.
And we've
Smokey
always,
gotta go, guys.
I just have one more question.
Smokey gotta go.
So we always see you featured in other artists' movies. Will we ever get a Smokey Robinson movie?
You brought that up, so I will reveal this. There's some guys working on that right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
And so we're going to see what happens.
Based on the memoir?
Yeah,
or?
based on my life.
That'd be awesome. There's been a lot in Smokey's life that.
My final question is that you watched a lot of legends pass, like you say, a lot of people pass. Do you ever think about your own death and how you want to be remembered and what you want your tributes to be like?
Well, of course I think about that, man. And I think people who don't see, you got to think about your death to set up your legacy and your children and people like that. So if I don't think about my death, I wouldn't have an estate plan. I wouldn't have a will. I wouldn't have any of that. So you got to. It's a morbid thought. What I mean? I don't want to think. Want to think about it, but you have to.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think about it. And I've lost some really, really, really good friends, man. And see, when we were growing up together, like Marvin Gaye, Marvin every day, man. And I never thought I'd see Marvin dead. I never thought I'd see that, man. I thought Marvin, we'd be 100 walking around together, talking about what we used to do. You know what I mean?
Especially the way he went out.
Yeah.
Or looking up to Frankie Lyman and then.
Frankie Lyman, no, it's just, it's really, but death is a part of life. And you have to think about that. You have to think about that. You have to think about that while you're living, and you have to think about what you are doing to others. You have to think about that. Because, see, I believe in the hereafter. And when I leave here, that's where I want to be.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? So you have to think about what you're doing to others, too. You have to think about all that. And, so I do.
Absolutely.
Well, there you have it. Tell them about the skin cream
My
one more
girl.
time.
Smokey Robinson.
Let them talk about the skin cream
get
one more
ready.
time. Where they can get the skin cream?
On Skinphonic. That's just
Spell it for 'em.
Skinphonic.
Spell it for 'em.
It's Skin PHONIC.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
And the men's
.com, skinphonic.com, and you can find all the information about it, and you can even order it from there right now. We're going to start off commercially in like boutiques and barber and beauty shops and stuff like that, rather than being in department stores and things like that. So, but that's the best place to get it now, and it works. The wonderful thing about it is that it works because I have very ashy skin, and I play golf, and so I'm out in the sun, and I'm traveling around all the time. So I ash up like we do, But it has moisturized my skin, it's smoothened it out,
Yeah.
So it works.
Skinphonics sound like a group that would have been signed to Motown.
Right. That's what. Let me ask you one more question. My mom is listening. My wife listening. Can we get a maybe 4 bars of Smokey?
Shut up. Smokey to say.
Was it rapper?
No, you can't.
What the hell wrong with you? Smokey ain't sang for free since 1927.
No, it ain't. No, it's not that. It's early in the morning.
Gotcha.
Well, there you have it. It's Smokey Robinson. It's the Breakfast Club. Good morning.
The Breakfast Club. Every weekday morning. Tune in.
Tears of a Clown, which is one of the biggest songs and the biggest records that I've ever been associated with as a record artist. We used to have social gatherings. We had Christmas parties every Christmas, and like I said, all of the artists at Motown were very, very, very close. One of my closest brothers is Stevie Wonder. I love Stevie Wonder, okay? And so Stevie came to me at a Christmas party. He said, "Smoke, man, I got this track, man, that I've recorded here." And he said, "It's a great track." He said, "But I can't think of a song to go with this track, man." He said, "Listen to this for me and see if you can come up with a song for it." So I said, "Okay." So I took the track. And, I took it home and I listened to it. And when I first heard the track, the track that he gave me that night was complete. It's the one that's on the record. He had already recorded the track and did the music and all that, And so the first thing I hear is bum, 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 ba-da-dum-dum-dum-dum-dum. So that's the circus. That's Barnum and Bailey. That's Ringling Brothers, So now what can I write about the circus that is going to touch people's hearts? Can't write about the animals because, people love animals, but, what's that got to do with touching people's hearts unless I write something tragic about an animal or something, But then I contemplated for a couple of days, and when I was a kid, I heard a story about Pagliacci. Pagliacci was an Italian clown who was so great until people came to the circus to basically see him. The lions and the tigers and the elephants and the trapeze and the people like that, that was all fine. But they basically came to see Pagliacci because he made them happy. He did stuff that made them happy, and he was the greatest clown. And everybody loved him. And then he went back to his dressing room, and he was very sad because he had all this love, but he did not have the love of a woman. He wanted a woman to love him like these people, and he didn't have that. So that's what I'm going to write about. But I'm going to personalize it. So that's what Tears of a Clown is about. Pagliacci was the inspiration for that song, and the inspiration for me was the music. Bum, 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 ba-da-dum-dum-dum-dum-dum. Where did I get the music from? From Stevie Wonder, who was one of the most prolific, incredible, Stevie Wonder. Come on, man. We're talking Stevie Wonder. We're talking everything from gospel and blues to jazz and everything in between. We're talking Stevie Wonder, okay?
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. sitting in the morning sun. I'll be sitting when the evening comes, watching the ships roll in, and then I'll watch them roll away again. Yeah, I'm sitting on the dock of the bay, watching the tide roll away. Ooh, I'm just sitting on the dock of the bay, wasting time. I left my home in Georgia, headed for the Frisco Bay. 'Cause I've had nothing to live for, and look like nothing's gonna come my way. So I'm just gonna sit on the dock of the bay, watching the tide roll away. I'm sitting on the dock of the bay, wasting time. Look like nothing's gonna change. Everything still remains the same. I can't do what 10 people tell me to do, so I guess I'll remain the same. Yes, sitting here resting my bones, and this loneliness won't leave me alone. Listen, 2,000 miles I roam just to make this dock my home. Now I'm just gonna sit at the dock of the bay, watching the tide roll away. Ooh, I'm sitting on the dock of the bay, wasting time. let the light bang dang go, turning cartwheels across the floor. I was feeling kinda seasick when the crowd called out for more. The room was humming harder as the ceiling blew away. And we called out for another drink, and the waiter brought a tray. And so we washed away there, as the mirror told his tale, that a face at first just ghostly. Oh, it was a whiter shade of pale. He said there's no reason, and the truth is plain to see, that I wandered through my playing card, would just not let it be. One of 16 Vestal virgins who are leaving now for the coast. And although my eyes was wide open, they might have just as well been closed. And so we washed away as she went along, as the mirror told his tale, that her face at first just ghostly. Oh, it was just a whiter shade of pale. keep singing them sad, sad songs. Sad songs. All I know has a sweet melody tonight. Anybody can sing it any old time. Touch your heart, put you in a groove. And when you sing this song, it'll make your whole body move. It goes fap, 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 fap. Your turn. I'll turn. Fap, 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 fap. Your turn now. All my life I've been singing them sad songs, trying to get my message to you. But this the only song, y'all, I can sing. And when I get to singing my message to me, to you, it goes fap, 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 fap. Your turn now. It's a lovely song, y'all. Sweet music, honey. It's just a line over. It tells a story, baby. You got to get the message, a strong message, honey. A lovely line, baby. I'm a worthy line. Watch me. Fap, 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 fap. Your turn. Everybody's turn. Everybody. Fap, 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 fap. One more time. Fap, 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 fap. Worry line. Oh, fap, 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 fap. Please let me sit down beside you. I've got something to tell you. You should know. I just couldn't wait for not another day. I love you for more than words can ever say. Honey, living without you is so painful. Yeah, I was tempted to call it a day. You've got me in your hand. Why can't you understand? I love you, baby, for more than words can say. Yeah, yeah. I just can't sleep when I lay down long in my bed. The thoughts of you, babe, just linger in my head. Living without you is so painful. Oh, I was tempted to call it a day. You've got I've been loving you too long to stop now. You are tired and you want to be free. My love is growing stronger as you become a habit to me. Ooh, I'm loving you too long. I don't want to stop now. Oh. With you, my life has been so wonderful. I can't stop now. You're tired, and your love is growing cold. My love is growing stronger as our affair grow old. I've been loving you oh too long to stop now. Oh, 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 I've been loving you a little too long. I don't want to stop now. Oh, oh, don't make me stop now. Oh, baby, down on my knees, please don't make me stop now. I love with all my heart, and I can't stop now. I've got sunshine on a cloudy day, and it's cold outside. I've got the month of May. Oh, I guess you say, what can make me feel this way? It's my girl talking about my girl. I've got so much loving, oh, the bees into me. I've got a sweeter song that I can sing than the birds in the trees. Oh, I guess you will say, ooh, what can make me feel this way? It's my girl talking about my girl.
I've been so wrong so many times. And you know what I'm talking about. We've all been wrong a time in our life. And we all make mistakes sometimes of leaving what's good for us. I made that mistake, and now I'm trying to get back to my baby. Just running around, sure enough, it's killing me. Let me in, let me in. Let me in, let me in. Let me in, let me in. Let me in, let me in, let me in, let me in, let me ease on in. Look into my eyes. Can't you see I got to come on in? I ain't lying and I ain't smiling about it, baby. Open the door, I'll bust it in. Because this running around, sure enough, it's killing me. Yes, it is. It's killing me, baby. I got to come on in. Let me in, baby. Please, let me in. I got to come on in, honey. Open the door. Open the door. Let me in, let me in, let me in, let me ease on in. Mama, mama, got to come in. Open the door. I can't stand this cold. Let me in this house. I'm tired of running around. Tired of being all alone. Standing out here and walking with someone. I'm tired of just being out here. I'm tired of being out here when it's cold. Open the door, open the door. It's early in the morning. About 2:45. I'm sitting here talking with my baby over cigarettes and coffee. And to tell you that, dog, I've been so satisfied. Honey, since I've met you, baby, since I met you, places that I've been around, and all the good-looking girls I've met, they just don't seem to fit in. No, it didn't particularly sad, yeah, but it seems so natural, darling, that you and I are here, just talking over cigarettes and drinking coffee. Oh. You know, my heart cries out, love that last I found. Honey, won't you let me just build my whole life around? And well, I compete my whole life would be, yeah, if you would take things under consideration and walk down this aisle with me. I would love it, yeah. People, I say it's so early in the morning. Ooh, it's 2:45. We're sitting here talking over cigarettes and drinking coffee, that Lord. like to show you where I know nothing but good old joy since I met you, darling. Honey, since I met you, baby, yeah. I would love to have another drink of coffee now. And please, darling, help me smoke just one more cigarette now. I don't want no cream and sugar, 'cause I got you there, darling. But just let me enjoy, help me to enjoy this good time that we'll have, man. It's so early in the morning, so early in the morning, and I got you, and you got me, and we have each other, and we don't want nothing but joy, nothing but joy. It's grooving time. That's what my baby told me. If you can't groove me, boy, you might as well let me be. It's loving time. That's what my baby told me. If you can't love me, boy, you might as well let me. Now she said she don't want me hanging in the street, y'all. Don't want me going down, sing on beat now. Hang out on Broadway, it's not her street now. Staying up late at night, not her gig now. Wants me to tease her all the time now. Wants me to love her day and night now. That's what she told me. If you can't do it, boy, you might as well let me be. Baby, it's grooving time. That's what my baby told me. If you can't groove me, boy, you might as well let me be. Said you don't want me shooting no food, running in the street, acting like a doggone fool. Said you just want me to stay right home, not just tend to my business, leave other people alone. Now, said you don't want me hanging in them nightclubs, all them Broadway funky nightclubs. That's what you told me. If you can't do it, boy, you might as well let me be. It's grooving time. That's what my baby told me. If you can't groove me, boy, you might as well let me be. It's grooving time. I got to get with my baby now. It's grooving time. I got to get back home to the little girl I said you wanna groove me. I know she wanna groove me, y'all. I've got dreams to remember. I've got dreams to remember. Honey, I saw you there last night. Another man's arms holding you tight. Nobody knows what I feel inside. All I know, I walked away and cried. I've got dreams to remember. Listen to me. I've got dreams know you said he was just a friend, but I saw him kiss you again and again. These eyes of mine, they don't fool me. Why did he hold you so tenderly? I've got dreams, dreams to remember. Listen, honey.
I've got dreams,
Rough dreams,
dreams to remember.
I still want you to stay. I still love you anyway. I don't want you to ever leave. Girl, you just satisfy me. Ooh-wee. Ooh, yeah. I know you said he was just a friend, but I saw you kiss him again and again. These eyes of mine, they don't fool me. Why did he hold you so tenderly? I've got dreams, dreams to remember. Listen to me, mama.
I've got dreams,
Bad dreams.
dreams to remember.
Don't make me suffer. Don't